Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Jason Hairston here with me today. How you doing, Jason?
I'm good. How you doing, Sid? Thanks for having me, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was noticing in our pre-production conversation that you have a continence about you. Hi, Yolanda. How you doing out there? You have a certain calmness about you that I want to kind of talk about. I also like that neck piece you got on. Can you talk about that piece there?
Yes, this piece right here was designed by my personal crystal jeweler. His name is Mark Plain. And this necklace is called Shaman of the Sun. He makes all my crystal jewelry. He made this ring as well. You can go to his website. It's called Sacred Spirit Gems. And you can order some of his pre-made pieces. And he can also make a piece that's catered just for you.
Wow.
SacredSpiritGems.com.
Okay. What type of stones are in your piece?
Now here's the thing. I think this is the tiger's eye. I don't remember all the different crystals, but he'll give you a list of everything that's made in the necklace, and he'll tell you all the properties of each crystal and what it represents.
Right. What does it mean when you wear those pieces?
So he made this particular piece for me, Shaman of the Sun, because I was given the name Little Sun. And I do work that's in the realm of the shamanistic work.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a powerful conversation today with the gentleman who knows some things. I have conversations with people from different eras, and a lot of the times I never heard different types of information. I never heard of a shaman. I never heard of a mastery coach. I've never heard of self-mastery. And so I always find it valuable when we get an opportunity to have conversations with people who are in those rites of passage. Now, early on, I want to say hi to everybody. Yolanda Riley said you can finally get your necklace made. Yeah, exactly.
You can, definitely.
Yeah. What is a shaman? Talk to us.
A shaman is a man or a woman that could tap into the paranormal to bring forth information. So I have a gift to where when I'm working with clients, literally I just become extremely present and I just listen. And I come out of my mind and I come into the moment and I just allow and I get insight that comes in to show me and guide me onto how to guide them to unravel traumatic patterns that's keeping them stuck in chaotic cycles.
Let's get some hearts and likes in the building. Text somebody, tag somebody, get other people into this conversation because this gentleman is obviously very powerful. Rose Q Hensley says clairvoyant, medium. It sounds like
that's in that realm. Yes, definitely.
So give me an example. Like how would you work with me for example?
Well, every situation is different. So I never know exactly what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do. I allow myself to be completely open in the moment. So one technique that I use for one person may not be used for you. Whatever I need to say will come through for you particularly. Now, not only do I open up to something that's beyond me, I can also recognize human behavioral patterns that I may see initially. So if you tell me this keeps happening to me, oh, I know what that pattern is. This is the issue, and this is how you can change it by breaking that pattern. And when you break that pattern, your life will change and you won't attract those same chaotic situations.
Right. When did you notice that you were inclined this way?
Well, I was always very observant as a young man, but something happened to me in 2009 that changed my life completely. Okay. Right before 2009, let's back up a little bit. Something inside me told me, you need to start meditating. Like I was in the music business, but something told me to walk away from that and just start meditating. So I used to manage rappers and singers and producers, hip hop producers. So I stepped away and something said, Jason, you need to start meditating. So I started off meditating like 10 minutes at a time. And then I got led to certain books that led to other books. Then in 2009, I started to get messages and I was like, what is this? And I used to work for Netflix. I used to transport the CDs, the DVDs rather, from Atlanta to Alabama, and I would drive at night. So one night I got a message that said, you need to quit this job. And I'm thinking to myself, quit this job? What you mean quit this job? I got to pay my bills. I had a nice apartment in Duluth, Georgia. The next week, I'm driving the truck, fell asleep, crashed. Lost my 2 front teeth, had a cut under my mouth, bruised my ribs. I lost my job, my apartment, my car. I lost everything. I got stripped down to nothing.
Wow. When you heard that message in your conscious, were you already in your truck or had you not?
Yeah, I was in the truck. The week prior, I got that message because at this time I started getting messages, and it's almost like a telepathy type thing. It's not like I hear it with my ears. It's hard to explain. It's like a feel here.
I got you. Yeah, it makes sense.
It was clear.
It makes sense. Right. What I'm trying to do is give even more validation to your conscious because it told you that you needed to leave that job a week before this incident happened.
Right.
Okay.
And in that moment, I didn't understand to listen. So now when I get a message, I listen. But at that time, I didn't understand what was happening. I didn't understand that was a gift, that I was getting insight, to my path. So this is common. If you look up, if everybody's watching this, if you go look online, if you Google the path of the shaman, what you'll notice is people who are shamans, this usually happens to them. Something traumatic happens to where they're stripped of everything. So you're broken down to the bare bones of nothingness so you can rediscover the power that's been there all along. But to discover it, you have to be stripped of everything first. And that's what happened. Car, apartment, job, identity to all of those different things had to get stripped away. So what happened when everything got stripped away? I had no choice but to sit in silence with myself with nothing. And when that happened, that's when stuff started unraveling inside of me. I started to just tap into certain understandings. Things just started happening, or I started recognizing things because I was finally still and sitting within nothingness. And I started to blossom like a flower slowly. And as that was happening, I started to get online. This was like around 2010. I said, I have to share this with the world. So I started sharing on Facebook and doing videos. And next thing you know, people started interviewing me. And next thing you know, everything just started unraveling. I'm also an energy healer as well. I don't know if you're familiar with energy healers, but I do that work as well.
Talk about the value of nothing. Our communities, and I'm talking about communities clear across America, are filled with people who think that because you're a truck driver, you're working for Netflix, you don't have a ton of money in your pocket, let alone you get to the point in your life where you have nothing. You're not looking good. You're not doing good. You're not looking good. You're a zero. I'm driving right by you. I'm not looking for you. Don't ask me for no favors. Your energy is bad. I don't understand why you have nothing. Nothing is badness. That is a narrative that is everywhere you look. Can you talk to us about the value of nothingness in your journey?
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because losing things has a bad rap, a negative connotation. But this is what I've realized along my own journey. And this is what I tell my clients and just people in general. Anytime you lose something, it's because you need that space to open for something else to come in that you need to take you to another level of yourself. So, for instance, if a relationship ends, most of the time, boo-hoo, oh my God, I lost the love of my life. I'll never find another man, another woman like this again. What can I do? Oh my God. But see, when a relationship ends for me, I'm not saying I won't feel sadness from the disconnect, emotions come up. But what I'm saying is I get over it faster because I know anytime I lose something, it's an opportunity for something else to come in better to fill in that void. But if we attach to the things we lose, what usually happens is we keep on attracting the same thing that we lost and we don't progress. But if we understand that losing something is an opportunity for something that's more aligned with the new you that's trying to emerge is coming forth, then when we lose something, we can start to look and be aware like, okay, I just lost this. That means something else is coming that I need, as opposed to trying to hold on things that you want that may not be what you need. So I let things fall away because I know the way is not for me.
So you're telling me that for people out there in the world who might be doing the best that they can, thinking that they are divinely guided by, their job, by their communities, and by themselves, can be 30 or 40 years old with all types of accoutrements, your car, your home, your job, and all that, and that it could be stripped away from you down to nothing. And that moment right there is a positive thing. That it could just
is an opportunity for you to allow yourself to be open for the new things that need to come in, so you can recognize who you are within the nothingness. Because a lot of times when we have the cars, the house, and all these things, it's all piled on top of the essence of who we truly are. We identify with these things that might not represent what's truly inside of ourselves. Mm-hmm. So when things happen, when things happen to strip those things away, change your mindset and say, okay, these things are being stripped away. That means these things that I'm identifying with are not aligned with who I truly am.
Wow.
So now that those things are gone, I can allow the things that are truly aligned with what's really inside of me to come in. And when you allow those things to come in, you start to recognize who you are based off of what the things are showing you about yourself.
Okay. So it's possible that people are creating too much of an artificial reality, and your higher power, your soul, says, stop all this, stop all of it. Don't mistake any of these words. Stop everything that you're doing. And in that moment, you have an opportunity to change directions. And with a little bit of faith and humility, you can grow into a more authentic version of yourself and get everything that you used to have back tenfold. Is that correct?
Well, here's the thing. You have to realize that you never lose anything that you really need. You lose things that you don't need. But we're trained to look at loss as a negative thing. Okay. So we don't look at loss as a negative thing, and we look at it as an opportunity. And what happens is, for example, when I lost everything, I could have moved into a state of fear. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And don't get me wrong, that did kick in a little bit initially, but then I relaxed into the nothingness. And here's the thing. Whenever you lose everything or something at all, just fully accept the fact that it's gone, to understand I have to fully accept that this thing is not for me. Because if it was, it wouldn't have left. So in the space of losing things, within that nothingness, accept it with all of your being that it was meant to go away. And it's for your best interest if it goes away.
That's right. That's right. With so many of our people, and when I say our people, I'm a universal guy. I'm talking about everybody who might come into contact with this broadcast. So many of our people lose things. So many of our people either hit rock bottom, they come into a challenging time, there's a huge adversity that causes them to change directions. Maybe you lost your job, the job of your dreams. Maybe you lost your relationship. Maybe your house burnt down. These are the types of things that happen every day. These things can be an opportunity for us to embrace the moment, grow, and create a whole new life. It's a spiritual thing when you lose nothing, when you lose everything. It's a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say this because you talked about faith, right? Mm-hmm. This is just my personal opinion from my own experience. Understanding is more powerful than faith, because when you understand that there's really no such thing as loss or failure, you don't really need faith. Like, I hope something better comes. No, I can guarantee everybody that's watching this podcast, I can guarantee you this. Anytime you did something that failed, quote unquote, just means it didn't work. That doesn't mean that you're not meant to do what you tried to do. It just means you were meant to learn from the mistakes that you made that didn't work. So you take the data. I tried this and this and it didn't work. Let me try it this way, right? That didn't work. Let me try it this way. But the question is, the thing that you're trying to do, is it truly aligned with your own fulfillment? Is it something that you truly want to do that gives you fulfillment? Because if you're trying to do something that's not aligned with who you truly are, it doesn't matter how much money you make from doing it. You won't find fulfillment in doing it if it's not aligned with who you truly are.
That's right. Who told you that you were allowed to understand and know as opposed to having faith and being uncertain? Who told you? Who told you that?
Life itself. Life is the greatest. Life experience shows me over and over and over and over. And this is not an opinion. This is what I call, see, I teach people, what I'm talking about is a principle, which is an energetic reality. It has nothing to do with, and everybody's listening, you cannot believe what I'm saying. Don't believe me. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. But if you take heed at what I'm saying and apply it in your life, you will see for yourself that life will also show you the same thing it showed me. That every time you lose something, it wasn't meant for you. Let it go and be thankful that it left. Mm-hmm. Be thankful that you lost it because it was hindering you from becoming who you truly are. It was a distraction.
How do you actually let go? What is that process?
Full acceptance that it's gone.
How do you accept? How, I want to unpack this. It might not be a simple answer, but the family here at America's Next Motivator, we have conversations like these. You're tremendous. And this is always going to be a home for your wisdom and perspectives. How do we accept loss? What is the process? How do we do it?
Okay. I lost my job. Okay, let's use that example.
So can we use a different example? Can we
yeah, you pick the example and I'll break it down.
How do we accept the loss of a loved one?
Okay. Accepting a loss of a loved one, you have to know that this person that you quote unquote lost isn't it. That person can always be in your heart. Like the memory of that person, the feeling of that person is always inside of you. And if someone passes away, they're in a more peaceful place. They're more at peace. So you can accept the fact that even though they're not here and I would like them to be here in the physical, I'm happy that they're experiencing peace outside of this physical realm. Because when you leave this physical realm, you're sitting with God. So if we could retrain our mind to look at it like they're sitting with God, they're in the most peaceful place they can be in.
Right.
I'm not saying that tears won't flow because it's natural for you to miss someone's physical form. But if you can fully accept the fact that they're sitting with God and they're at peace, it will help you get over it faster. Because to be perfectly honest, I'm going to go kind of deep with this. When we lose someone and we fester over the loss of someone, it's really a selfish thing because we're sad because they're not here because we want them to be here. Mm-hmm. That's why we're sad. I wish you were, because most of the time, if we lose somebody, we're sad because that person made us feel a certain way. So it's a selfish thing in a way when you hold on too tightly to them, because it's like, I wish you were here to make me feel better, but you're not. I'm so sad. You're not here to make me feel better. Mm-hmm. So if you are codependent on people that you love to make you feel better about yourself, that's an indication that you need to really tune more into the inner love that you have within yourself and not be so codependent on other people to make you feel good.
Right. Is there a such thing as being able to open or close access to your soul, to your mental space, to your consciousness? Is there a such thing as being able to allow certain things to come in and allow certain things to come out?
Yes. For example, I'll give you an example. I remember when I first started doing self-mastery coaching sessions, right? This is maybe like 2011-ish. I was in a session, right? And I'm sitting there listening. This person is telling me all these messed up things. I'm sitting there, right? And when they was telling me this stuff, what happened? I went into my mind and I started to panic inside of myself. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to tell this person. This is messed up. So something inside of me said, Jason, get out of your mind bring your attention back to your heart and just become present.
That's right.
So I came out of my mind and I just came into the feeling of the present moment and I just sat there. And then that's when the insight came. So how do you cut yourself off from tapping into consciousness? You go into your mind. How do you tap into consciousness? You leave your mind and come into the present moment. Now you're open and you're allowing insight to come.
This is phenomenal. So what you're saying to me is that we can gain the ability to travel from our heart to our mind to our own space up here somewhere.
Right. It's like this, right? The reason why it's important to meditate is because you're training yourself to become more in the present moment. The more you could be in the present moment, the more you could tap into the higher part of yourself. But if you watch television all day and you in your mind all the time, you won't be able to tap into the higher part of yourself because you're in your mind. You're not in the present moment. If you're in your mind, you're in the past or the future. You're not present.
I want you to make this distinction. A lot of people think that being in your mind is, the most abstract thing you can do. But you're saying that you can go a step further and be in your own spiritual realm. That's not the same as being in your mind. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Tap into the deeper part of yourself. As a matter of fact, if you can get to a space where you could become extremely present in the present moment and allow yourself to just be there, you will literally recognize things that you didn't know that you knew, because it's like you're like a computer. You know, when you can store stuff on a hard drive, so your mind is like a hard drive, right? So if you store a whole bunch of things on your hard drive, what happens to your computer when you store a lot of things on your hard drive? Doesn't it start to operate a lot slower? So you don't want to store a whole bunch of things on a hard drive. You want to store foundational principles of understanding on your hard drive, because you want to leave enough space so you can open your mind and allow things to come in. But if you got a whole lot of things on your hard drive, there's no space for anything to come in.
That's right.
The higher part of yourself.
That's right.
Right.
One of the biggest issues that I've heard over the years with consciousness and people who associate themselves with consciousness is that you can get so conscious that you're not in touch with reality. And I love it how you said it on your own, that you regularly go from your state of consciousness or subconsciousness into reality. Sometimes the best way for you to be effective in the moment is for you to embrace what's going on around you, like really tune in to the present moment. But sometimes it's appropriate for you to go into your mind or into your conscious or subconscious and find the wisdom that you need. So it's like you've got tools.
Right.
Life doesn't always have to be complicated. You have an opportunity to go to a totally different position and look at it from that view. Sometimes you might not understand what's going on in a community unless you climb a tree. And sometimes you've got to climb your own tree. You've got to take the bird's eye view in your own life sometimes. You just can't always be standing on the ground looking around. And it sounds like that's the apparatus that you're talking about today.
Right. I want to make something clear.
Go ahead.
When I'm saying that you could tap into your own cloud and get data that's outside of your mind, I'm not saying that you need to stay in that state in every waking moment.
That's
when
right.
you're driving your car, you got to be in your mind. If you're playing basketball, you got to be in your mind. If you're attending to your child, you have to be in your mind. So you have to have balance. If you're too much in your mind and not tapping enough into your consciousness, there's an imbalance. You got to be able to do balance. But if you're in your consciousness too much and you're not using your mind, that's also imbalanced as well. So you got to know when is the proper time to use my mind and when is the proper time to tap into my consciousness. I tap into my consciousness when I'm doing interviews. What I do before I do an interview, I get real present. Because now I can tap into my consciousness. I don't have to drive a car. I don't have to do any physical activity. But if I'm doing a physical activity or anything that needs my mind, that's when I use it.
What is the value of all of this information that we're talking about today? What's the value of it? Why is it important?
To decrease suffering. Balance decreases suffering. Any form of suffering, you can give me any situation where suffering is occurring, and I can show you why it's because of an imbalance. I can show you exactly where the imbalance is.
We have 444,000 youth in the foster care system. Many of them don't have a father in their life. They don't have a mother in their life. Could this body of information that you're talking about help those children grow into happy, positive adults, even without their parents in their lives?
Yes, but it's not the only piece that they need to know. What I'm sharing is only a piece of understanding that's more of a whole. So I'm going to say this though, right? If you are a foster child, or you were a foster child, right? Your fulfillment. I'll say. Let me back up. Your path and what you're meant to do. The clue to what it is based around the biggest trauma that you experienced in your life. So if being a foster child was super traumatic to you and affected you in a way where it caused pain, extreme pain in your life, that means you're meant to give to other kids what you didn't get that you needed when you were a foster kid.
That's right.
So the biggest trauma that you experienced is an indication to what your path is, to what your purpose is. So if your biggest trauma was being a foster kid, that means if you give to foster kids what you needed when you were a foster kid, you will get fulfillment in doing that and helping them, right?
That's right.
And they will become a product of a more positive, a grounded product of you giving them what you needed to receive.
That's right.
So giving what you needed when you were a child is a clue to what your path is.
So in other words, we become what we need.
Yes.
We become what we need, and in becoming what we need, we sort of become the solution to our own problem.
That depends.
And, yeah, it depends, right? But in an ideal world,
yes,
we can become what we need.
Yes.
And then we'll have something tangible to offer our communities.
Yes. And the only way you can become what you need is if you choose not to be a victim of the circumstances that caused you pain. If you choose to be a victim of the circumstances that cause you pain, you can't be a solution for others that's experiencing similar pain. But if you choose to do the work to process the pain and climb out of the pain, I can almost guarantee that you're going to have a drive to help others that's going through something similar that you went through. It's going to be automatic.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Jason Hairston. This man is solid. He knows what he's talking about, and I'm loving this conversation. We're going to take a brief break. You guys sit tight. We'll be right back. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. Ladies and gentlemen, just want to give you guys a few updates. Starting the first week of March, our show is going to move to 9 p.m. Our show will be moved to 9 p.m. starting the first week of March. So look for us at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, starting in the month of March. I also want to let you guys know that the Pride Empowerment Academy is on its way to the rollout. I'm creating an academy for parents, and then I'll create an academy for young adults. I'm packaging a wide body of information, an extremely dynamic curriculum for parents out there who want to break through to their greatness, and look out for that. And we're back. Jason, how you feeling out there?
Feeling good. I'm here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you talked about energy healing before the break.
Yes.
Is energy healing something that everybody can partake in? What if you're hooked on drugs, or you're drinking alcohol, you're hurt, you're hurting other people, you're lost?
Well, if you're on drugs and you're an alcoholic, you won't be able to be present enough to even be able to do it.
Okay.
Now, as far as people who hurt people, I know of people who are energy healers who actually hurt people. So, it's one of those things to where, anything that anybody can do, somebody can use a tool to take advantage of people.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what it is. So my intention is to help people. So it's not to take advantage of people. And anybody could be an energy healer. We all have the capability to do it. It's just a matter of wanting to learn about the energetic arts. Now, me personally, I wouldn't just teach anybody how to do it, because I would need to know that you're in your heart and what your intention is. I wouldn't just start a certification and train anybody who would pay me, because it's not just about money to me. If you learn how to open up people's energy, you have them in a very vulnerable state. And I need to know that you're able to be responsible in that position.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that we need more rites of passage, ways to learn this type of information, where you come to understand your consciousness, you come to understand your different faculties and the apparatus that you are as a human being? Do we need more places where we can learn about that?
Yes, because we are human beings, and we're a technology, right?
Wow. Okay.
There are many different facets of this vehicle that you're in. It's a technology. You need to understand how it works energetically, physically, what's going on. The more you understand how this vehicle works, the more you can use it more efficiently in the world.
If we're a technology, is it possible that the technology that we use in the world is inferior to the human being?
I would say that the technology we use in the world is an extension of the technology that powers the human being. It's just a different expression of technology. Okay. Technology is technology, But I think that when we look at technology, if you really look at it on a deeper level, technology always gives us a clue of our own human potential.
Mm-hmm. Is technology a field that we should be expanding into?
Yes, but in a way that's balanced.
What's that mean? What do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is, Elon Musk is talking about, transcending the human vehicle by implanting chips into the brain so you can download things. And my opinion is that that's taking it too far, and that's causing an imbalance, because we already have the technology where we could tap into things. So to force ourselves to turn ourselves into a robot with computer chips, I feel like we're going against nature. When you try to tinker with the human vehicle with physical things like chips and things of that nature, thinking that that's what you need to advance yourself on a conscious level, that tells me that you truly don't understand the human vehicle and the human technology.
Exactly. So now I asked you those series of questions so that we can create a sort of hierarchy in this hour on America's Next Motivator of technology. You see, I've never seen a technology that can heal you. Like, the very energy that's coming off of this technology is healing my energy. And yet you're an energy healer. And so you can position your intentions to actually heal me. And so to me, in my opinion, you would be more valuable than any computer I've ever seen. Does that make sense?
Now, you know what? I'm going to have to agree with you in that regard, because human technology is conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Technology itself is not conscious. So why is conscious technology more valuable? Because conscious technology is embedded with God.
That's right.
But I also feel like technology in itself is an extension of God in a different form, but it's not conscious. Anything that's a conscious technology is a more powerful technology, because the conscious technology can rule the technology itself.
Right. Right. So this is so let's look at this. How much of the technology that we use today, the street lights, the artificial lights in our homes, the televisions, how much of that is conscious technology?
Well, I would say that it took a human being conscious technology to envision that technology for it to even manifest.
Okay.
So it came from a conscious thought, but it's not alive.
That's right.
See, technology that's alive breathes with the breath of God. So anything that breathes with the breath of God is more powerful.
That's right. So talk to me about how we need to be valuing one another, as almost juxtaposed or opposed to the way that we value technology. For instance, would you rather a new Bentley or a new brother? There's people out here that's gonna choose the Bentley over the brother, and I think that we have it backwards in that sense. When you think that the Bentley is a greater piece of technology than your brother. So, we're starting the Bentley or brother challenge right here on America's Next Motivator. And I want us to discover why we should choose our brother over the Bentley. Go ahead.
Well, let's talk about the root of why many of us think that getting a Bentley is more important than developing a substantial or a relationship with a brother or a sister, a deep friendship. It's because of the culture. We've been indoctrinated to value things that have less value than real connection. Listen to the music. Look at the movies. What do they teach us? They teach us if you have a Bentley, that means that you're a better person. Right? It teaches us if you have this chain or these cars, that means that you're a better person. But I never had a Bentley, but I already know that if I get a Bentley and I think that getting a Bentley will make me a better person, I know that once I get used to that Bentley, I would need something else to make me feel like a better person, because anything external cannot make you feel like a better person. Right. It will for maybe 3 months, but that will fade away. How do I know this? Because I remember when I was a kid and I would get the new video game system every Christmas, right? So I'll get the new Sega, and I was happy I got the new Sega. I played with the new Sega for 3 weeks. Once I got tired of it, it didn't have value anymore. So I knew the same principle can be applied when I'm adult, when I get the car, when I get the house. It's the same thing like the Sega. I already knew, I realized that as a kid. I knew that getting something that costs a lot of money is only gonna make me happy for a certain amount of time until I get used to it. So from that point on, I understood that and first of all, I don't believe that you can stay happy. Number one, it's more important to find peace, because peace is here. Happiness happens in spurts. You have a birthday party. Oh, happiness. The goal is to come back here, neutral, peace. If you experience sadness, you go underneath peace. And what you want to do is do whatever you need to do to get back here, center. So if you're feeling sad, what do you need to do to get you back? Is it a certain type of music to make you feel good? A certain food that makes you feel good? Do whatever you need to do to get you back here. Don't strive to stay at the peaks of happiness, because if you chase peaks of happiness, the dopamine rush, you will become a dopamine addict, just like a drug addict becomes a drug, addict becomes a drug addict.
That's huge.
Don't chase the happiness highs.
That's huge.
Try to center yourself here in peace. because this is where you can stand your ground within the foundational power of yourself here. And happiness will come. Allow yourself to experience it. Sadness will come. When it's in the sadness realm, you get weird, back to peace.
Right.
So the dance of life is to try to stay. The dance of life is trying to stay as much in the middle as you can. That peace factor, right?
That's right.
You want to dance here. It's going to be impossible to stay in peace at all times because things happen to make you feel. So you have to understand that the goal is to stay in the middle as much as I can, because in the middle is wiser.
You're wiser.
And it's less suffering. The more peace you experience within yourself, the less suffering you experience.
Is that the value of zero? Like being able to be neutral?
Yes, 0 point. So, for example, I could go so deep into my own energy where I could just sit within myself, so where I can feel the power of zero. The nothingness, which is also everything.
Right. So let's put a pin in this right here. Today we discovered that nothing is an amazing place where your possibilities can grow out of.
Yes.
We also learned that the value of zero is the neutral space where you become grounded and wise in all situations.
Yes.
As conscious technology, Jason, as conscious technology, do we have a responsibility to express what we think about the world and where we believe that the world can go? Do we have a different responsibility as conscious technology, which is potentially supreme over all the other technology on the earth? Do we have a responsibility that we need to remember?
I feel like you always have a responsibility to share if you have solutions.
Okay. Do we have a responsibility, at the very least, being that we are a conscious technology, to describe what we would like to see in the world before we leave? Just before you die, tell us what you'd like to see happen next in the world.
I would like to see us develop a new culture that's based on principles that expresses balance and harmony. If we do that, the world will become a place where our kids will be safe enough to play in.
Absolutely.
Where adults will be safe enough to connect in. Where women will be safe enough to walk down the street without getting harassed. Where Black people can experience life without racism. And all of the other chaotic things that causes suffering would go away. But until we change, because your culture is your operating system. If your operating system is toxic, your music is toxic, your relationships are toxic, your media is toxic, your food is toxic, right? So until we change the operating system to place value on healthy food, healthy music, healthy relationships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, nothing will change.
Let's continue down this avenue. How do we impact society to begin to welcome healthy food, healthy music, healthy relationships, healthy passings by?
By being in a healthy relationship, so you could be a vantage point for people to see, because most people haven't even seen the reference point of a healthy relationship. Introduce people to healthy food that tastes good. Introduce people or create music that is conscious and positive, that inspires. Create whatever your skill set is, create something from a conscious level to eclipse the toxic products from a toxic culture.
Is it okay if it's just one out of 10,000 of us doing that work? Do you think it should be more of us doing that work of being the positive example, engaging in positive relationships and positive habits and positive things to kind of balance out the amount of toxicity that we have in our world? I mean, when I look at pop culture, we've got all different types of terms that are rearing their heads these days, like toxic masculinity, toxic happiness, toxic positivity. I mean, toxic is like the word of the year in 2020. There's so much of it that it's a part of our everyday conversation, the toxicity that we all have to deal with. Do more of us need to be positive energy distributors?
Well, I think that when it comes to positive impact, because of technology, currently we have people like you that can just create positive content. We don't need NBC, we don't need ABC, we don't need CBS. So there are more people impacting the world in a positive manner now because of technology. So it's already happening to where more and more people are doing it. So we do need more people to do it, but it's happening now, and you're part of that process, and so am I.
That's right. Are we moving into into a new age?
Yes.
Talk about that.
Okay. So the current state of culture and society, if you watch the news, if you watch most movies, the main thing that they do is they want to keep you in a state of fear. Zombies, you know, all this stuff. Fear, 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 right? So why do they want to keep us? Why do they want to keep us in a state of fear? They want to keep us in a state of fear because when you're in a state of fear, you're unconscious. You're in your mind, right? Your mind is where fear lives. Fear doesn't live in the heart and your consciousness. When you become present, if you can become present, fear won't be there if you can do it. The only time you experience fear is when you go into your mind and you start thinking about things that make you afraid. Okay? So ask the question again, because I went off on a tangent and I kind of lost track of what the question was. So ask one more time.
Are we moving into a new age?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, here we go. So how do I know we're moving into a new age? Because we have people like you that's able to penetrate the field with this content. See, in the 80s, you didn't have this option. You only had the option of what the people with money control, ABC, right. NBC, CBS. But see, that's why I say technology always gives you a clue to where we're going as a human race. There's more positive shows ever than before. They may be not on the major networks, but that doesn't matter. People watch YouTube now more than they watch television.
That's right.
Right. So if you look at blockchain technology, Bitcoin, right? What is Bitcoin doing? It's disrupting the banking system that has enslaved us for thousands of years. It's freeing us from that. So the fact that Bitcoin is doing that, that's an indication that we're walking along a path towards freedom. Your show and all these positive shows, independent shows that are coming, is an indication that we're moving towards something more positive.
That's right. Wow.
So it's happening.
Wow.
But when you focus too much on the news and watch the news and allow them to paint the picture of what's happening in your world, you get discouraged because they just paint the picture that they want you to see, which is the picture of fear. So you got to stop looking at the program that they're giving you. You got to start looking at the more organic programming that's happening. Like the programming that you're bringing forth.
Are y'all hearing this guy today? Are y'all hearing Jason Hairston today dropping straight wisdom on our show for the whole hour? Replay this episode. Listen to what this man is saying. Cross-reference. Take the terms that he's using. Google them. Go on YouTube and research energy healing, the different spaces that you have access to, neutrality, point zero. We have a comment in the building because this has been an intense episode today. Now, do we have what it takes to create a technology that can change the world for the better?
We always have. Nikola Tesla had technology that could have gave us free energy in the 1920s, but J.P. Morgan shut it down because he wanted to meter the energy and make money. So it's always been here. It's just that people with money who want to suppress the markets have been in control, but they can't be in control any longer because of the technology. The technology is leading us towards the road of freedom. The technology is the new Underground Railroad.
Wow.
All to freedom.
Do more of us need to be in the technological space?
Yes, because the new infrastructure that's being built right now is a digital infrastructure that's based in technology. So kids that's watching this show, learn about coding, computer coding, learn about cryptocurrencies, learn about decentralized financing, which is on the blockchain, learn about blockchain technology. All of these things are the future job markets that are coming forth. The old job markets are dying. If you're looking to get a record deal or be in the music business and get a record deal, you're on the wrong path. You can't make money from selling records. Music is free. You have to realize where the job markets are going. Where is technology leading us? Wherever technology is leading us, go towards that area and learn it. Learn how you can contribute and bring forth your skills to build with the new technology. Mm-hmm. What is your skill set that you could bring forth that you can add to the new technologies? For example, your skill set is speaking. So you're using this technology to do the show. You're using the technology. Use your skills. Bring your skill set to build on top of the technology that exists.
Okay. And I want to see if we can add on to that. You look at all different types of industries, and I'm talking about African Americans, Black people, melanated people are leaders of those industries, right? And at the same time, when you look at the penitentiary system, we are a high proportion there. When you look at the foster care system, we are a high proportion there. And when you look at, poverty, we're also a high proportion there. And so when we look at technology as a way to freedom, and we say, okay, we're leading in all these other places, but there are certain sectors that are hindering our whole community. I wonder, do we need to become leaders of technology instead of following technology as much in order to bring more freedom to our people? Leaders of technology.
Yes, but the problem is, and I'm just speaking about Black culture now.
Okay.
The issue is that our culture, right, in television, in the music, none of the content points us towards technology or points us towards the new Underground Railroad, which is technology. They're purposely being paid to distract us into wanting to become rappers and influencers with fake hair and fake body parts and pretending like we own a Bentley when we just rented it. Because we're allowing culture to dictate what's valuable to us.
That's right.
And it's all false. So you have to let all of that go and realize this is a distraction.
That's right.
True value is your skill set, your natural ability. Refine it, cultivate it, and bring it forth.
There you go.
And get into Bitcoin and these digital currencies where you can hedge your money and make it grow outside of the system that enslaves you.
That's right. Embrace nothingness.
Yes. Because nothingness is infinite possibilities. Mm-hmm. See, we think that we can figure everything out with our mind. Let me tell you something. I'm going to give y'all a tip.
Go ahead.
The next time you're in a situation where you feel overwhelmed and you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Stop thinking and just sit there and breathe. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, if you just sit there in silence and stop thinking, it may be hard to do if you don't meditate, but try this. Just sit into nothingness and try not to think. Just sit. An idea will come to you. Clarity will come to you.
That's right. I feel that we're only hearing our calling a little bit as holders of conscious technology. I feel that not enough of us are activated. Not enough of us is online to the fact that we are conscious technology, and that we have some homework to do. You spoke on a lot of it today, and this is why I want to hone in on the key factors of our conversation today. You said some powerful things. We need to understand nothingness, which is infinite possibilities. We need to understand neutrality, which makes us wise in the moment. We need to become leaders of technology, because when we do, it will help us to gain freedom as a community. Ladies and gentlemen, connect these dots. Think about it. Do the work and continue to come here for these conversations. Drop comments and let us know that you're growing out there. I've got a few questions for you as we round third base here, Jason. And we've got about 40 seconds left in the show. 40 seconds. The first question: what is survival to you?
Survival is being able to use all of your abilities to bring value into the world. Because if you could bring value into the world, you can survive, because your value brings wealth. And if you can bring yourself wealth, you can take wealth and build things that represent something positive, if that's what your intention is.
What is success to you?
Success is living in full alignment with your capabilities and your gifts, which brings fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. What is greatness to you?
Greatness is operating within your fulfillment on a high level and continuing to refine it. The more you refine and accept the lessons in life, the greater you become, because you understand more and more. And the more you understand, the more you can give a value.
Mm-hmm. 10 seconds. There's a young man out there just like you, but he's lost. He's got no parents. What do you say to him?
I say that love doesn't just come from parents. Love can come from anyone. So embrace the people in your life that show you love, and allow those people to give you the love that your parents can't give you because they're not there.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your crown emojis ready. Jason, I want to let you know that we've heard your story today. We listened to the way that you overcame adversity to become an even bigger, better person in our communities, a healer, in fact. We're going to give you your respect today. We're giving you respect today while you're still living. And we're giving you a crown today while you can still receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat. We are letting the world know, letting you know that you, Jason Hairston, you are America's next motivator.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got crowns coming into the building. Thanks for stopping by today. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do, just like you did today, is stop by and pick it up.